I'm Katrina from Pure Joy Farms, and today I'm going to be showing you how to skirt a sheep fleece. We have Icelandic sheep on our farm, but this method works for any type of sheep. After shearing, we put the fleece in a plastic bag. We pick it up from the barn floor, trying to be careful how we fold it. But it's a fast process, so a lot of times when it goes into the bag, it doesn't go in as well as it could. And it stays in the bag until I have time to skirt. So today I'm just going to be walking you through the whole process, exactly what I do. I've never looked at this fleece since it was sheared, and so I'm just going to dump it out and we're going to go for it and see what we find. This is from one of our ewes, Darla. She is a badger face with Icelandic coloring, meaning her body is mainly light color, her face is dark, her feet and legs are dark. So you dump it out, you're gonna see mostly the cut side, hopefully. That should be on the bottom when it comes off the animal or when it's laying on the floor. And then you're going to want to start to peel this apart. Okay, so you want to be careful how you do this. You want to go slower than faster. You're trying to separate the cut side, the sheared side, from the ends of the locks. They naturally want to bind together, and so you're going to be gently pulling apart the locks and the cut side. So you're going to look for any natural breaks in here to want it to fold open. Here you can see that right there, pulls apart. And you're just going to work with it. Sometimes you can figure it out right away. Sometimes it's a bit more of a mystery if the fleece gets twisted as it comes off the animal. Okay, so once you have it all laid out pretty nice and flat, one more little pocket here, pull that out. You're going to want to determine where the head was and where the back end was. It's usually pretty easy to tell. The head is going to be typically kind of matted together right underneath the head, right in the neck and the chest area. That's because that's where they drink, so the water drips there, where they eat, and so just hay maybe is caught in there. When they're grazing in the grass, that's where the burrs are going to get picked up. So that's typically a throwaway area, and the wool doesn't grow quite as long in that region anyway. So that is up here on her. I can tell that there's a few burrs in there, and the wool's a little shorter. Sometimes it's a little bit finer. It's kind of furry looking. That is the head and neck. You go down to the other end then, that's the head, then obviously this is the back end. You are most likely going to see a little bit longer wool on an Icelandic anyway, and it's a little bit straighter. And a lot of times you'll see maybe some clumps of poo. Let's see if we can be so lucky to find any. And sometimes I take it off right in the barn if it's real obvious. I actually don't see any on her, which is nice. So now it's just a matter of taking out everything we don't want in the fleece. So I'm going to be going around the edges and then working in the middle just by feeling, trying to find the burrs. As I work around the edge, I pull off anything that's short like this and kind of furry looking. You want to leave the staple length or the length of the lock to be pretty consistent throughout. So when a hand spinner is going to be spinning this, they're going to want a consistent length. They're not going to want to deal with these little shorties. You can save these for your own purposes if they're nice and clean and you have a little craft project, or if you like to just spin small projects. You can save those if you want to, too. But either way, you want to pull it out. Pull out the stuff that doesn't work for spinning these little fuzzies. So I'm just going to work myself around here. When you come to a burr, you can do one of two things. It kind of depends on the type of wool that you're dealing with, but you don't want to just grab the burr and pull it out. You're going to end up pulling all the locks with it and get kind of a frayed, furry look. So you're going to want to pull the wool gently away from the burr, trying not to open up the burr so that it leaves all its lovely seeds behind. When it gets to a point where you can safely release it, then you can put your one hand on the lock, keep that steady, and then use your other hand to pull the burr out. And it should stay there. If you come across a big section of burrs, you may want to just pull all of the locks out together and throw away that whole section of locks. What I mean by lock is, I'll take out that white section I had before. These are locks. So this would be a lock, this would be a lock, and you can just separate those by holding on to the outside. So all those other little fibers stay with those locks. I'm going to flip this up here just so you can see something that I'm looking for. So when the shearer is cutting, sometimes they end up taking 2 swipes along, and so you end up getting these little, what we call second cuts. Those you want to pull out if you see them anywhere, just because when you card and spin, those get to be kind of a real pain. You want everything, like I said, to be the same length. Okay, so I think I'm done skirting. I can't feel any more lumps underneath my hands. And I've got all the shorts, the second cuts out too. Use one more. So now to store your fleece, if you're not going to be working with it immediately, you want to store it in a way so that you can unroll it and come back to this layout. So what you want to do is you want to fold it lengthwise, the locks on the locks. I'm just going to kind of grab it, fold it up. Now you get to see that lovely undercoat. And you'll probably find some more second cuts under here, so go ahead and pull those out. pretty? It's like a big blanket. Okay, so now we're gonna roll this up like a sleeping bag. Just gonna grab it and get it. I want to do it gently but firmly. Same time if that's a thing. And then just roll it up. If you see any other second cuts as you go, pull those out. And it should pretty much stick together and roll up. So there you go. Now you have a little bundle. So I put my fleece into these bags. I make these out of just a homespun cotton fabric. They do kind of grip the fleece as you put it in here, but it's a nice way to store them because your fabric can breathe, and then if you don't work with your fleece for a number of months or even years, it can stay in this bag. Then while you're carding it, you can again store it back in the bag. So then when you want to work with your fleece, you're going to take your bag off very carefully, peel it away, and you're going to expose it again. You're going to dump it out on your table and then slowly unroll your sleeping bag and then open up your flap. And that's it. Thanks for viewing.